All right, and we are live.
Good morning, everyone. It's V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, CJ. And we're bringing you the news, the views, and all the information that's important to you because there's a lot of things going on and developments are fast and furious. So instead of you being curious, you need to know the inside track of the inside baseball on what the hell's going on globally. And we're going to bring that to you. RogueMoney.net is the place to be. Check it out, RogueMoney.net. And also make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the share button. Hit the thumbs up button. Tell your friends and families to tune in. With that being said, also check out our sponsors, RemainCalm.net, RemainCalm.net. Don't freak out. Remain calm. Whether you need to get your credit score replaced, fixed, whatever, or you need a credit checkup, that's the place to do it. RemainCalm.net will get it done for you. Also, if you need funding for whatever business or whatnot, that's the place to be as well. RemainCalm.net is the place that you can get that done. Also, check out thecryptoschool.io, thecryptoschool.io. You need to learn which are the best wallets. You need to figure out how to move cryptos. Now's the time to do it. Use the tumult. Use the volatility to your advantage. Thecryptoschool.io. Thecryptoschool.io, not .com, thecryptoschool.io. With that being said, and now out of the way, Siege, we got a lot of things to cover, man. I don't know exactly where you'd want to begin, but you've heard of crip walking in South Central LA, where these gangsters are doing these little crip walk. It's like a little dance that crip gang members be doing in South Central Los Angeles. Well, I think the perp walks are coming, Siege. I think there's going to be some perp walks. Have you seen, now before we went live, I asked you, did you see the interview between Chris Cuomo,
break that down for us,
CNN, and Nancy Pelosi? First of all, we all know that Nancy Pelosi is a dingbat. We all know this woman is out of her gourd. She's literally out of her mind. She's demented and she's suffering from dementia or brain trauma or whatnot. But, in between the various psychotropic medications she's on, there are many moments throughout that interview, and I think Mark Dice put together a really good little 5-minute snippet on Nancy Pelosi and that Chris Cuomo interview. I urge you guys to go to Mark Dice's channel on YouTube and check it out. You would get not only would you get a good laugh, but I want you to notice something. 90% of the time during that interview, that woman is just staring off into space. Like, she is checked out. Now, normally she is checked out on a given day, but here's what's different about this. If you look very closely at her, you look into her eyes, CJ. Okay, typically Nancy has a very vacant look in her eyes. I mean, like nobody's home. The lights are on, but nobody's home. They were talking about the memo. That was the whole entire thing that Chris Cuomo, the idiot, was just rambling about. Just the memo. But here's the funny thing. Nancy had the look of fear on her face. You cannot discount it. The woman looked like she was gripped by terror. She looked terrified. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and watch that video. There are snippets and moments where Cuomo is discussing the memo. You look into her face and you see a reaction of fear. That was very telling to me. And I sensed that. And also, the idiot, Congressman Adam Schiff, who's an absolute libtard, lunatic, fringe nut job to begin with. That guy. Schiff had the look of terror on his face. Meanwhile, basically, guys like Schiff, Pelosi, who kind of get the inside track on some of the things that are going on, they look terrified. Now, it's pretty interesting because tonight is the State of the Union. We're going to be doing our State of the Union follow-up. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be the first State of the Union in a very long time that we're actually happy about. Okay, a lot of great things are happening. There's a lot of challenges that are still going on. A lot of things that are in flux. But overall, it's going to be a very good State of the Union. Now, during the State of the Union, the counter party is going to be the person that they chose, the Democrats, who they've chosen as the speaker to speak right after Trump is. Take a guess who it is, CJ.
Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Hopefully it's not Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I mean, she's pretty much let's see here. Who's the guy out of the East Coast?
It's not Debbie Los Vatos Wasserman Schultz. It's not the
Cory Booker.
It's not the flaming Cory Booker who doesn't understand or seem to get that his political policies are obsolete. No. It's not. It's not those two. Debbie's too busy trying to manage MS-13, and Cory, I don't know what Cory's up to. You're gonna love this one. It's one of the most craziest, deranged, retarded congresswomen out there.
Oh, Maxine.
Boom. Murky Waters.
I heard she's not even attending. I heard she's going to do something on BET to counter the.
That's going to be her counter State of the Union. It's going to the Democrats have chosen Maxine. This is what I'm saying, folks. This is what the talent pool has been devolved into in the Democrats. So the Democrats ain't got nothing left. They have nobody. They have nobody left. That the only person that they can choose is Murky Waters. Murky Waters is the only one. Nobody else but Murky. So Murky, with her insane conspiracy theories, her stupid comments, I don't know who's worse. This is who the Democrats are trotting out into the public, CJ. Adam Schiff, Murky Waters, and Nancy Pelosi. Those three are the individuals that they're using to connect with the people. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, man.
Yeah, it truly is. I need to get one stream back up, V. Keep going for me, please.
Well, so here it is. So the perp walk that is about to happen is the House Intel votes to make the shocking FISA memo public. This is from Zero Hedge, our buddies over at Zero Hedge. They do a great job. Donald Trump, in a highly anticipated decision on Monday evening, the House Intelligence Committee voted to make public the memo alleging what some Republicans say are shocking surveillance abuses at the Department of Justice regarding the Trump presidential campaign. In immediate response to the vote, the committee's top Democrat, Adam Schiff, said that we're crossed a deeply regrettable line, adding that the committee voted to put the president's interests above the interests of the country. See, these idiots are stupid. Here's what they don't get. Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you, Democrats, you establishment idiots, you rhinos, you neocons, you neolibs. Nobody believes you. We in America want to see your destruction. We in America want to see you strung up and lynched for treason. We in America want to see you brought before a firing squad and executed. So yes, it is in our nation's best interest. This is the biggest crime of the century. This is the biggest crime of the century. The biggest political scandal of the century. And God only knows what other things will come out. Do you realize the skeletons that will be falling out of this closet? The potential for that to occur is absolutely massive. Massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was interesting to hear some of the the pundits, Representative Adam Schiff come out to say that, this is, completely irresponsible of the House Oversight Committee to release this memo. It's, they're playing politics, and the level of stupidity of this guy, and you could see the fear in his eyes as well, as he went through and had this press release. So I'm glad right now that it is in Donald J. Trump's hands to decide, when to specifically release this. Now, I did listen to Kellyanne Conway, who was talking a little bit around the prepared speech that President Trump has prepared for tonight.
Yeah.
However, we all know that Trump is his own man, and
Right.
whether he alludes to the document, whether he the memo, to whether he releases it after the State of the Union, who knows? But I'm going to be watching with high anticipation of, and I think he does. He needs to take a victory lap. I think that he, definitely deserves that. Take a victory lap. Talking about, what he foresees for the economy, things turn around, the very pro-American agenda, and then specifically, hopefully he does hit some of the talking points regarding the amount of obstacles that have been placed in front of this administration.
Absolutely. The thing is this, man. Okay. These guys are talking about, Adam Schiff. They're politicizing, they're politicizing. What the hell have you mofos been doing for over a year with this Russia collusion? What have you mofos have been doing for this past year on a witch hunt? That's not politicizing, but all of a sudden, the truth is starting to emerge about your said witch hunt. And now you're screaming bloody murder. It's check and mate. These guys know. See, I can't exactly say what the hell is exactly going on because I have no clue. But there is a sense, there is a deep sense that something is about to blow. Okay? While this is happening, and I'm telling you, the deep state is terrified. I'm telling you that there is a potential here between now and the State of the Union, or between now and the release of this memo. That is why this memo needs to be released freaking right now. Like right now, while we're on the air, it needs to be released because the potential here for a false flag is great. They're going to try and shift the attention. There's going to be an attention play here. Where will it be? Will it be in the Middle East? Will it be in Europe? Will it be here in the domestic America? Where is it going to be? I don't know. But that potential is there. And this is something that we need to be mindful of. And I know for a fact that the good guys are mindful of it. Okay? They're mindful of it. But that being said, these guys, these career politicians right now are terrified. There's no question of that whatsoever, CJ.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think, behind the scenes, from when these things happen, from my understanding and looking back at, history just a tad, and unfortunately, too many times people want to start playing politics with things like this. They want to start, utilizing something like this, for leverage. And that's traditionally be what has happened, in the past. The Iran-Contra scandal, and then some policy shifts occurs that, things are swept under the rug. It's like happy be lucky won't go, going at it again. However, I think in this situation, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, here, and the only reason I say this is one primary reason is that here you had a Department of Justice that was specifically stating that they do not want the memo released. They want time to review it. They want to get it to the FBI. And here you have the, President Trump to come out and be very vocal and state, no, I want the memo released, because he knows, I think Trump, that's something he's very good at. I think he's very good at having the pulse of the American public. And I think that, Twitter, certain social outlets, because we know that he's protected from certain information, but his engagement level on the social media, platform, I mean, it resonates with a lot of people. And I think that in part, that's why I think that this time, things will be different. Why else do you think we had an FBI? Was it? I don't think he was the actual director. I always forget his McNabe. What was the guy's name that resigned yesterday?
Andrew McCabe.
Andrew McCabe resigned.
Yeah.
Why else do you think that happened? Do you think in years past that would have happened? No, they would have met behind closed doors. We probably would have never heard about this memo. Times are changing, folks, and I think that it's very important that we all understand that.
Absolutely. This would have never never come to. I mean, look at the scandals that were under the Obama administration: Fast and Furious, Benghazi, Solyndra. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Libya. I mean, there's so much malarkey. The 8 years of Obama as he went about systematically destroying this country, but not a peep from the media. The media worshipped him that he was the Messiah. Why? Because the media is worshiping him as the Messiah because he is the one that is going to fulfill their communistic, far left wing, red state, their freaking Soviet state fantasy. So he was given a free pass. You would have never heard of anything. Everything was squashed. Everything was squelched. Any sort of information about Obama and the scandals that he had, it was squelched. Now what's happening is the entire curtain is being pulled away from the Wizard of Oz. And these guys who have the wool pulled over our eyes for so many years. I mean, see, if you want to pull up the article, The Weekend of Q, Hillary and Obama to be arrested for treason. It's on roguemoney.net.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was put out by Bankster Slayer. And in that article, I urge people, when you get a chance, go ahead and read it. She's done a great job here, a very good job. You got to understand, folks, one of the things that Q is saying is there are this thing that is happening here in the United States is just not limited to the United States. It's happening globally. It's happening within the Western governments around the world. Monarchs, Q is saying, are seeking shelter. And I love how Q always ends his statements. He always says these people are stupid, and they truly are. It's something, it rings with me because ever since I came on the scene in 2012, I've been saying the same thing. These people are stupid. When everybody else out there is talking about all the elites are such intelligent people, they're like gods. We can't possibly fight them. We're going to lose. All we can do is just go to the basement, eat cat food, and wait for the SWAT team to come through the door. That's how it was in 2012 when I came on the scene. And I was one of the few voices out there saying, you know what? No, these people are stupid. They're arrogant. They're foolishness. They're inbred. They're dumb. Their ivory towers have blinded them. Because what's happening is that we're imploding it. We've been loading sticks of dynamite into the bases of these towers, and we're going to blow their little ivory towers sky high and bring them down to reality. They're going to find out the very tools that they thought were to be our enslavement, social media networks, smartphones, that these would be the instruments of our rebellion against their control. And now, when you go to Davos, you go to any sort of CFR meeting, you go to any sort of globalist confab, the number one criteria after they get off circle jerking themselves with their mutual masturbation about climate change, the next thing that they talk about is, world populations, they're all revolting. How can we control them? Oh, the information's getting out. Yes, you're doomed. So we have a strong opportunity here, folks, to punch this ball into the end zone. And for the first time in a very, very long time, we can make these governments of this earth and of this planet quake in fear of the population who is now no longer the sleeping giant, but is now aroused out of the slumber that we were in for so many decades. And our vigilant gaze is all of a sudden turned on them. And they're right now scurrying like cockroaches. That's what's happening in the world. You cannot deny that. You cannot deny that.
No, you can't deny it. And they're going to try to probably push a narrative that this memo is potentially fake. They potentially could release their own, trying to provide some type of cover. And what I like, when Bankster Slayer, put out this article and spoke specifically around some of the Q posts and then tying it back to some of the actions that had taken place, there is no doubt that when Trump met with UK Prime Minister May, because we know that they had a hand in helping with some of the surveillance, that it left May her pale and shaken which might indicate that certain evidence was presented to her. I think that's exactly what Trump did. I think he presented her with the facts and said specifically listed, what's going to happen. So, and another point, V, I'd like to make in regards to, the whole, speculation on arrest with Q and everything, is that I heard a great conversation and talked a lot about, just a lot of the negativity that's out there right there, a lot out there, a lot of negative energy. And folks, we have no choice at this point to try to be optimistic. Now, we can be realist about it, but we want to be optimistic about, these potential outcomes that we all want. Now, we can still hold, people accountable, right? We can still, the kind of the same way that we didn't want this whole memo to be swept under the rug and the IRS scandal, numerous ones that you mentioned that had happened in the past. But as everyone points out, especially Dr. Jerome Corsi has pointed this out numerous times, and that's why a lot of people are alluding to military tribunals against some of these people, is that let's face it, the courts, the past 16 several years have been stacked, right? Have been stacked primarily with these advocate judges, these judges that are going to, not prosecute. So there may be no choice but to put these in military tribunals to try these people against, crimes against, humanity. So I'm going to remain optimistic about that, V.
Absolutely, man. And the thing here that we need to remember is, and I think Q alluded to is a real thing here. These people need to be brought, before military tribunals. They need to be brought before military tribunals. There's no way you can take these idiots into a stacked civilian court. Because, and here's the funny thing, though. These people, with all the laws that they've put in between signing the USA Patriot Act back in 2001, and then in 2012 or 2013, when Odumbo, in the middle of the night, right before New Year's Eve, he signs into law the NDA, the National Defense and Authorization Act, right? The NDAA.
Right. Yep.
Right. So these people were thinking that these are going to be executive orders and acts and laws that are going to be empowering an executive office that's been burgeoning in power, that's been consolidating power for the last several decades, making the legislative branch of government weaker and weaker and weaker, while the executive turns into a tyrannical dictatorship. And they were thinking that it would be one of their mavens, like Hillary Rodham Clinton, who's going to come along and take the powers and take those executive orders and take those laws like the NDAA and the USA Patriot Act and put the kibosh on the American Republic, end our country as we know it. That's what their plan. Their plan was a 16-year plan of destruction upon this nation. A 16-year plan, and we were 8 years into that 16-year plan. And it backfired gravely. Now Trump is going to use those powers, and he has been using those powers to go after these guys. This is what is happening. Okay, I'm a skeptic. I'm a cynic by name. I don't believe stuff until I actually look into it. The only thing, and look, nobody knows the game of the inside baseball, what's going on right now. But I can tell you, on the surface, this is what the tea leaves look like. This is what the tea leaves look like. And that's something that we just cannot wish away. That's something we cannot ignore. And if these guys, because of these executive orders and these laws, they're no longer U.S. citizens. These are enemy combatants. They need to be tried in a military tribunal, and that is just what should happen, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, there's a game changer coming to healthcare, man. What is that?
Yeah, let me bring this up real quick.
Sure.
So new information that's coming out today, and love it or hate it, I applaud it just primarily because of the competition. We've seen a lot of consolidation occur the past several years with major players in the insurance company. I believe now there's what, like 2 or 3 major players. That's it. Um, Speaking, I do completely know about the JP Morgan Chase and Company health benefits, for their employees. I mean, and by far, out of several, a couple of Fortune 50 companies that I've experienced with, was hands down one of the best. Well, it appears now that Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and JP Morgan Chase and Company to partner on U.S. employee health care. So these 3 powerhouses are coming together to potentially look at putting a healthcare insurance plan together and go direct head-on-head competition, with Anthem, with United Healthcare, all these big players that for the past few years have consolidated and have really rammed the price up. And it's very easy to go take a look at the profit that these companies, they've been there to take government handouts the past couple of years. They've complained about, it's very, healthcare costs are rising, and then you take a look at the premiums, you take a look at the deductibles that have just skyrocketed the last several years. And then you benchmark that against the profits that these insurance companies have taken in. It's like, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense here. If you're yielding, billions of dollars in profits, and yet you're taking government subsidies and you're complaining about it, what type of innovative solutions are you taking, utilizing technology, whether it's, online, care, getting healthcare to some of these rural areas. So as much as I despise a few of these companies that are mentioning in this effort, I think it's good. I think this is a great thing that these insurance companies, that these healthcare providers have consolidated powers the past few years, are going to have a new player and some big names coming into the healthcare industry space. I'd rather much have this happen, versus universal healthcare on a federal level.
Yeah, this opens up everything for competition. This is a good thing. And some people say, well, those are just big companies. The point is something's being done. We're getting some motion and some momentum here. The last thing that's left is destroying the state regionalization lockouts that all these insurance companies have benefited from, where, a certain state or region can't cross shop. I mean, you live in that state, like, for instance, here I'm stuck with like Cigna and maybe a handful, that's how it is in some of these states. You only have a handful of choices or just one choice, and that's it.
Right.
Stop. That's stupid. It's never a good idea. So I'm glad that that's going away, man.
Yeah, and there's some innovative things that, a few of these companies have done. There was innovative regarding an employee pool that, allowed for people to put a certain amount of contributions that went to like medical reimbursement accounts. And speaking from firsthand perspective, is that, I, for the most part, when I had some of this insurance, is that I was paying no deductibles when I went to the doctors. I was paying no deductible on prescriptions. And some of these companies had the innovative approach to provide solutions, for their employees. So if they can come up with some of those solutions and apply it, to healthcare overall in a plan that's affordable, that's innovative, utilizing certain technologies to help deliver healthcare, let's go at it. I applaud the competition.
Absolutely, man. Competition is a great thing, we only benefit when there is competition. That's, what I'm saying. So anyway, Siege, too many wars, brother. Too many enemies. Got a lot of the U.S. war machine still is out there like an unwanted vestige blowing in the wind. It needs to be quartered. It needs to be brought home. What's the latest on this, man?
Yeah, so this is an article written by Pat Buchanan, and it's a great article that kind of really summarizes what's happening geopolitical. And as much time as we've been spending recently focused on domestic things here occurring, and and I've always kind of felt this whole thing could have been kind of is I don't want it to become a distraction of the U.S. foreign policy of what's happening overseas. But this is a great article. It's on antiwar.com, and it specifically talks about that Turkey is not bluffing in regards to the U.S. troops that are there in Syria and could be under fire by the week's end. And we've specifically heard this, that Turkey has ordered U.S. troops out of that quadrant, out of Syria, and the U.S. and under I can't remember what the general's name is, saying, no, we're not leaving, we're not going anywhere. This could put them at odds against each other in this specific area. So that's just Turkey, for example, that's listed in here. We're also finding out that in Afghanistan, for example, here, the Taliban has recently made some, inroads into some of these strongholds that the U.S. once had. And there's been in this year alone, 2018 has been a very deadly year, in Afghanistan. So it's something that we definitely want to keep our eyes in the foreign policy and related to North, South Korea, which, we're seeing some peaceful resolutions there. Let's hope that continues. Right. But it's just a great article to say, hey, let's take a moment here and let's take a look at where our troops are, why we are engaged in so many hotspots around the globe. And let's keep in mind that we have some things that we need to take to here domestically. And because of all this, everything going on here domestically, let's see if the foreign relation policy of the administration mirrors some of those things that we really wanted as we kind of led and supported Trump into his office.
Absolutely, man. 1000%. And I think with that, Siege, we're at the end of the show, man. Anything else you want to cover?
No, that's it for today. Just want to announce, we do have the Trading Terror Dome today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you check in for that. And then also we're going to have a special broadcast tonight, special Rogue Money Radio, W, also Bankster Slayer, hopefully, Ken Shorgan Jr. We're going to be doing a special post State of the Union address, kind of break it down a little bit, and then, provide the perspectives coming from a Rogue perspective. So we'll be scheduling that as soon as the State of the Union address is over this evening, V.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit us with the thumbs up, and we'll be back later tonight. With that being said, take it away, CJ.